AgilePM Foundation Lesson 2, the adaptive approach.
We talked about a certain approach to development in the previous lesson. That's when we try to understand the expectations of the customer or the business side. In the beginning, we create a plan and a design for the product, and then we start the project, we create the product. In certain projects, such as IT development, we have a big problem because it seems like we cannot understand the expectations upfront. That's how it is. So my question at the end of the previous lesson was, how can we solve this problem? One way is to keep using this approach and improve it. And this approach is called predictive because we try to predict everything upfront. How can we improve it? For example, we can have a better communication in our project. That obviously helps, but experience shows that it doesn't really solve the problem. Maybe we can get help from prototyping, modeling, and in the beginning of the project when we try to understand the expectations. That helps, but doesn't solve the problem. What can we do? One alternative is to change our development approach. And this is how we can do. This is the start of the project. We don't know enough about the expectations of the customer, but instead of trying to make it precise in the beginning, we just go on with the project. In a short period of time, we think about different ways of approaching the project, and we pick one that seems to be the best. The one that we believe will bring us closest to the expectations as we know them. So we run the project for a couple of weeks, create a small piece of product and show it to the customer. The fact is that we've realized that maybe the only thing that is in common between technical people and business people is the product. And that's the only way we can really understand each other. The problem with the predictive approach is that we only have the working product at the end of the project, and we cannot really use it to create understanding. So in here, we will have multiple products during the project. So, as I told you before, we spend a few weeks and we create a very small piece of product, something that works. We show it to the customer or the business side and receive their feedback. Using that feedback and the new understanding we have from the way the business works with that small piece of product, we will have a better understanding of the expectations. So now we can take the next step. Using the new understanding, we will think about different alternatives, pick one that seems to be the best, create the second version of the product, show it to the customer again, receive more feedback, and we go on like this until we realize all the expectations. This approach is called adaptive because instead of using a predictive kind of understanding that is created in the beginning of the project, we go on and we let the environment help us adapt and find our way through the project. So you see, one common problem is that people think in adaptive approaches we just go on with the project. We don't care about planning or designing or anything else. No, that's not the case. We are using a very special approach, a certain process that helps us use the environment to find our way. We still have to find our way. So this approach is what we call Agile. Adaptive approaches are called Agile, and when you use predictive approaches in IT development, we may want to call it waterfall as well. We don't use the word waterfall when a predictive approach is used in another industry, such as construction. It's just about terminology. So, back to this life cycle. We can call it a life cycle. As you see here, one of the major differences we have here is that we have multiple versions of the product instead of one version that is created at the end of a predictive approach. Do you know the term we use to refer to this when we have multiple versions of the product created during the project? Let's talk about it in the next lesson.